And we are really grateful to have Dr. Valavalkar for today's lecture and next Sunday's lecture, because spirituality is the soul of humanity. And we are very eager to listen to you, sir. Over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Prachi, for a nice introduction. Thank you, Dr. Mindal, for your all efforts to organize this speech. And I welcome you all on this slightly hot Sunday morning. We think we all of us are busy in our own life and climbing the ladder of this, so it is difficult that we spare time for spirituality or anything in our work. Actually, I would say sometimes many of us have feeling whether spirituality helps us to climb the ladder or it may give negative effect on our ambitions. This is the thought in everybody's mind. Now we can start. We see about this. One second. I'm unable to share the presentation.
Do you want us to make the presentation?
It is better. Please,
okay.
you
okay. Okay. Just a minute. Just give us a minute.
Okay, till then we can move ahead.
Is it visible?
No, I'm able to see it.
You can't see?
No. Now I can see. Yeah.
You can see?
Yeah.
Okay. We can continue.
I cannot see it the complete screen.
You cannot see. I have made it full screen.
I am unable to. What about others? You can see it on full screen?
Yes,
sir.
Yes, it's full screen for us.
Okay, no.
Some of these.
Can you see it now?
Temples or
Can you see it?
leaders.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Can move to the next slide.
Yes.
Next. In
Is
fact,
it visible to you?
Yeah, it is visible to me.
Okay, fine.
You can see the screen. No, everybody can see the full screen. Hello.
Yes.
They can see.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. We all of us want success in this or profession or job or whatever we do for us. At the same, We want to be happy in our relationships. In short, we want to have a nice, peaceful life.
Right.
At the same time,
Exactly. मोठे दिसत नाही त्यांना.
we basically Indians have inclination towards spirituality. But most of us keep spirituality as a task or act to be done after the age of 45, 50. And we actually do that. After 45, 50, when we are little free from our daily responsibilities, we start reading books, spiritual books like Bhagavad Gita, or we start going to temples or various religious places. But at present, from basically, especially from March 2020, things have changed. The corona pandemic has thrown various challenges, unseen challenges in front of the world. The whole world has become insecure. We have insecurity of our jobs, our profession, of our near and dear ones, and actually our own life also. So in this situation, we, all of us, are looking out as a spirituality, and we are whether the spiritual outlook can help us to cope up with the new challenges which has been thrown to us by this pandemic. Now, when we look what are interested in doing,
Dr. Walavadkar.
hello,
Walavadkar.
okay, I'm connected.
Yes, you can switch off your video because there may be problem with the bandwidth.
Okay. I did that.
Yeah.
Okay. Now again, next slide, please.
Yeah.
Next slide. So when we say entrepreneurship, what is entrepreneurship? Entrepreneurship is the ability and readiness to develop, organize, and run business enterprise with its own risks and in order to make the profit. So making profit and making money is the most important, if not only important, object of the entrepreneurship or running any enterprises. When you are running an enterprise for the profits, naturally, you have to look out for new opportunities. You have to look out for fundraisers. You have to look out for the banks which will give you money. You have to look out for people who are competent and who will help you in rising your business. You have to look for the customers. So it is completely outside world you have to focus on. And then only you can convert the opportunity into business and ultimately business into profits and money. That is the object of the entrepreneurship, and that should be the object of the entrepreneurship. Now, what is spirituality? Next slide, please. Spirituality is the quality of being concerned with human mind, spirit, and soul as opposed to the physical things. Means in spirituality, you have to look within yourself. You have to improve your own mind qualities and you have to look for the mental peace and not outside peace or opportunities. So apparently they look totally different from each other. One is totally, entrepreneurship is totally focused on money and profits, while spirituality is completely focused on inner self and just not bothered about what happens outside. So apparently they look totally different, but there is very interesting multi-layered relationships exist between. We can discuss about that. Next slide, please. We know Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita has said these words. It is in 16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Ahankaram balam darpam kamam krodhaja sanshita mamatmanam paradeheshu shat vishayasuga trividham narkasya dwaram nashana atmanam kama krodhastatha idam trayam tajit. It means, in simple English, it means you should eliminate demonic elements like ego, arrogance, anger, and greed as soon as they arise in your mind. This enhances creativity, productivity, and gives you glorious success in what you do. Simple statement. Whatever bad qualities or bad arise in your mind, you should remove them immediately so that you can increase your productivity and increase your quality of your life for a long time. This is what Bhagavad Gita around 5,000 years back. Now, next slide, please. This person, Karao Ishikawa, he is a Japanese management, or that time he was a consultant. Post-World War, Japan was struggling to survive. All of us know Japan was actually totally vanished, and they were struggling to come up. They were struggling to survive actually that time. So this Karao Ishikawa, as he was he was working with management institutes, he came up with a new theory. The concept of the theory was, next slide please. The concept of the theory was, eliminate the West immediately from your organization and change it for continuously. It improves quality, productivity, and gives the organization long-term glorious success. And we can see that it is quite similar to what Gita has told. Remove bad things from your mind, pure, so that you increase your creativity, you become peaceful and live longer. Happy, you have happy and peaceful life. Same thing this man told. Eliminate the West immediately from your organization for better, continuously. It improves quality and productivity that gives the organization long-term and glorious success. This whole concept was named as Kaizen after some years, which was name was given by Imami Masaki. The first company who applied this concept of Kaizen was this. Please. Next slide. The first company who applied this concept was Toyota. Toyota worked on this. They removed all the bad or useless things from the company, or they replaced them, or they improved them. And within 10 years, this company became #1 company in automobiles in the world. It gave very tough competition to the companies like Ford or General Motors in America, or Mercedes or BMW in Germany. Read the books like Zero Defect Car, that is Toyota. We have, or it is Toyota. They are famous books. All these books have been based on the theory of Ishikawa, which done based on Bhagavad Gita. So, after understanding this, that the Toyota company, which is a corporate company, multinational company, it achieved success by the theory proposed by Ishikawa. And after that, this Ishikawa's theory has base in Bhagavad Gita, is told to improve mind. On this basis, when we understand that, we can say that there are certain rules of universe which are applicable to all the sectors of universe, all the sectors of the universe which are existing in the universe. These sectors may look apparently different from each other, but they have some relationship between them. Now, what are the rules of universe? Universe goes on, there are certain things or certain method with which universe works. I'm using the fact universe, or I'm using the word facts of universe and not the rules of universe. Facts of universe exist as it is in the universe. Science do. Science studies the facts of universe. It creates knowledge about facts of the universe, which is learned through the experiments and observation. Science observes what is happening in the universe, and science doesn't create anything. It observes what is happening in the universe, which are the facts of universe, do some experiments, and give some conclusion observation. There are certain very interesting and common facts of universe. We can see. Next slide, please. The simple basic fact of universe, which we have studied in 12th standard. It says static friction is greater than kinetic friction. It is a physics thing. Which says when any object which is standing and you have to put a lot of energy as compared to you have to move an object which is already in the motion. Simple. If something is moving, they have to move it further is much lesser as compared to start something. Which is required much lesser as required to make it move forward. No, this is a rule of physics. This is told for physics, but it is not limited only to physics. If you see even startups, any startup, when you begin the work, it is very difficult. You have to work. You have to work to get financiers. You have to work to get the customers, and it is extremely tough. And we call it as they are much difficult. But once it starts up, then automatically, and if it survives for 2 years, 3 years, then automatically finances come to you. You create a customer base, you get more and more customers, and the business, then the efforts you have to put in are much lesser. And why go into the startup also? In the common man's life, if you want to go for a walk in the morning, or if you want to go for gym in the morning, it is difficult to get up early in the morning for first few days. But once you start going to the gym, then your body automatically gets up at a particular time and you go to the gym. So the fact of the universe is that static friction is always greater than kinetic friction. It goes beyond physics. It is applied to economics. It is applied to business, as we discussed about startups. It is applied to our normal life also. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Another fact of Dr. Minal. Another fact of universe is carbon atom is a tetravalent atom. Okay. Our body is made up of carbon. We know carbon is a major building body. What we eat, that is proteins, lipids, and carbohydrates, they are composed of protein. They are composed of carbon. Carbon is a major element on all the food we eat. Very interestingly, the carbon atom is such that it is tetravalent atom. That is organic chemistry statement in common language, that carbon atom has 4 electrons in its outer shell, 4 valencies. Still simpler language, there are 4 valencies in carbon atom which need to be fulfilled by some other atoms. If they are not fulfilled, one atom is not stable, it is unstable, and it undergoes various reactions which may be good or which may be bad. The other components which come into contact may create poison or it may create food, whatever it is, but it is not stable. It is stable when all its 4 valencies are filled, then it is stable. Same thing. Every human mind has got certain needs. Every human mind has got certain needs. It may be monetary aspect, it may be relationship, it may be job satisfaction, or it may be. unless your all the four or whatever your needs they are satisfied, mind cannot be stable. It keeps on wavering. So we have to keep our satisfied. Our balance is filled. If your balance is not filled, you may go to bad things. Like you see, if someone is not getting job satisfaction, he may go to alcoholism, or he may go to another many bad things. Or at the same time, if he is not getting the enough from a job, or he is not getting enough money, he can go to other good hobbies also, like reading, which can make his mind satisfied, his balance is satisfied. Then spirituality and in towards spirituality helps you in keeping away from bad things and going into good things, to be stable, to make yourself stable. Another interesting fact of universe is some microorganisms produce, please, earlier slide please. Another fact of universe is some microorganisms produce spores which can survive for hundreds of years in adverse conditions. We know microorganisms cannot see even see with our own eyes. They are so small. But they are best to survive in the adverse conditions. Adverse conditions are the conditions under which one cannot survive. Like they may be outside conditions like temperature, availability. A human being can survive on range of temperature, that is 40 degrees Fahrenheit to 110 degrees Fahrenheit, not beyond that. Microorganisms also can survive in the range from, suppose, some 30 degrees centigrade to some microorganisms from 30 to 90 degrees centigrade, some from 10 to 60 degrees centigrade. These microorganisms have got ability to produce spores. Suppose their range is 30 to 60 degrees centigrade, and now they understand that it is becoming 70 degrees centigrade. The cell, their cell, which is living cell, it stops its complete activities, that is digestion, eating, reproduction, everything is stopped, and it enters into the form, which is dormant. It is complete dormant form, and which is called a spore, and this spore survives for 200 years. This is fact of universe about microorganisms. The same law can be applied to human beings. When conditions are adverse, we need to keep down. We need to keep our mind under control, accept that conditions are not favorable for us, and one day the conditions will be favorable us. We should have that faith within us, that one day conditions will be favorable for us, and then we can again restart our life as it was earlier. This faith about the future and the ability to go and bear those conditions is given by spiritual inclination. Next slide, please. Next slide. So we can see that the facts of universe exist before we were there, before science was there. Like apple was falling from tree to the ground before we understood that there is a gravitational force behind this. Falling of apple to the ground from the tree is a universal fact of universe. What Newton did, gave a framework to the fact of falling of from tree to the ground, and it is called as law of gravity. Similarly, E to mc square was a fact of universe which Einstein gave a name, and it was called theory of relativity. So science gives the framework to the facts of universe which exist always, which were existing before science came. So, and that's why scientific rules have limitations, because science have, like I will take the examples, organic chemistry, microbiology, or physics, but actual facts of universe go beyond that. In science, there is another doubt about in many people's mind that science against reality. It is not the truth. In fact, science gives the profound best to the spirituality. When you see, understand the scientific rules, you extend it to the aspects of life or business, and it becomes applicable there also. It gives meaning and betterment to those sectors of life also. Next, please. Next slide, please. So as we discussed, science doesn't create anything. Then how science is useful for us? Because science creates a technology. We understand the scientific rules. We are limited to science. We understand that those rules go beyond science also, and they can be applied to various aspects of life. And then what science does is science uses the rules and creates a technology, simple technology. They know that if you put the steam with which one object, with that we developed engine on which the whole automobile industry runs. This is automobile technology. So technology is the application of science, which improves quality of life, society, and environment. Please. Next slide. Every entrepreneur or every enterprise has the base of technology, either direct or indirect. Information technology, automobile industries, they are directly based on technologies. Industries like films, they are based on indirectly. They have indirect support or indirect base of technology. Next slide, please. Now we studied science. We understood laws of universe which are existing in the universe. We know that they have helped us to make our life better because technology has been developed from them. At the same time, we have to study our own mind also. It is extremely important. Unless you know your mind and what you want and what are you exactly, you cannot be successful neither in business nor in your own life, because you yourself don't know what it is. And our important and the most important part of our mind is, next slide please. Next slide. Emotion is the most important part of human mind. Technically, the definition is emotions are physiological states associated with thoughts and feelings. But these emotions influence the behavioral response. Our response is completely behavior. Our behavior and response to anything is completely dependent on our emotions. Next slide, please. Emotions have their various ways. We thought meaning that certain emotions like anger, arrogance should be removed. But the most positive emotion is love. Love is the strongest positive emotion, and it originates from affection. This affection may be towards this affection may be towards somebody. This affection may be towards some faith or some object which you don't see. But this love gives you extremely positive energy, and it makes you help in your own goals. Next slide, please. When your love, anything, is maximum, you want to spend maximum time and energy for that thing, for that important thing. When your love for your work reaches the peak, it is called as dedication. And when your love for your God or your spiritual needs, it is called as devotion. Both of them are extremely important to achieve success and happiness in your life. Next slide, please. When you have emotions, you have love, you have dedication, you have understood your mind, then the most important part of your mind and your emotion is conveying them to the right person. It is, your emotions need to be communicated. Simple definition is communication is an act of transferring information, thoughts, and feelings from one person to another person. The most effective communication is the communication which touches the heart of the person speaking to. It should touch the emotions of the person, and once it touches to the emotion of the person, then only you get correct impact. And I am not talking only about relationships. I'm not talking about communications. I'm talking about communications in business too. It should touch of the person. Then only it is successful. Next slide. I'll give you one good example of successful communication, good communication. We know this product, Maggi. I think all of us know this. Children love this product. Mothers also love this because it is very easy to cook. Fathers love this because perhaps it is the only product that they can cook. This product is actually Italian pasta, noodles. It was launched in India around 1982-83. Before that, similar products were launched by various companies, and all of them were from Hindustan Lever, which was very, very dominating company at that time in India. It has wide range of products from Lux cosmetics or including foods like lip and other food ingredient food products. Also, they were ruling Indian market that time. They launched one product, noodles, pasta noodles, and it was super flop. It couldn't succeed in Indian market. On this background, Maggi was launched. Maggi is a Nestle company's product. Nestle company, nobody knew that time in India. There was only one product called as Nescafé, which was selling in India, urban areas. So Nestle had absolutely no presence that time in India. But Nestle launched Maggi. All the business analysts thought that this product will never be successful. And within 3 months, this product became super hit. Urban area people started buying it. It went to semi-urban and then rural also. This product became extremely successful till today. Then by a journalist, one journalist asked a question to the chairman of Nestle a few years when Maggi that what is the secret of success of Maggi when all other products were failing in India? How did Maggi become successful? The chairman of Nestle answered, very interesting answer it is. He said, Indian family has a typical characteristics. Indian family wants to eat food cooked by the woman of the family. Indian women also want to cook food for their family, and they don't want to give which is brought from outside, ready-made food. It was true, very true that time. Now it is little improved, but also it is true. But at that time it was extremely true. Indian mother wanted kids to eat food cooked by her, and Indian husband and kids wanted to have the food cooked by their wife and mother. It was the culture that time. So he said, we studied this culture, and what we did, we bought the product which needed 2 minutes boiling. This 2 minutes boiling, it was very easy for the woman to cook because that time women started working, so they wanted something which can be cooked very easily, so it was easy to cook. At the same time, it was giving feeling really that it is a homemade food, that mother has cooked it. That 2 minutes were very important. Mother used to think that the woman of the family has cooked it, and woman of the family used to think that she has cooked it. That Maggi is successful in India. And now after around 44 years, the Maggi is still successful in India. This is one of the communications on corporate levels, corporate communication. Next slide, please. Another very interesting communication with this. Say this, I'm sure all of us know what it is. It is movie Diwar, Amit coming to God and खुश तो बहुत हो, मैं अपने आप को तुम्हारे हवाले करता हूँ, तुम्हें जो करना है मेरे साथ करो, लेकिन मेरी माँ मुझे वापस दे दो, मेरी माँ बहुत बीमार है, माँ वापस दे दो. This is the communication. Even today, when we hear this, it touches our emotions. Film was released in 1975. Today, this is the 47th year. So many generations have passed. But every generation's mother and son have felt emotional when they listen to this dialogue. Very simple. But it has come from the heart, and it touched the heart of the person. It touched the heart of the audience. That is the most important thing, and that's why it is successful. So communication and touching the heart of the emotions of the other audience or other person is extremely important. This can be the prayer. I would say this can be the one of the best prayers, because it has come from the person, true emotions, and he has behaved as if it is the way he has spoken this. That is why it is most very important communication. Next is next slide, please. You know Dhaneshwar and Dhaneshwari. In Dhaneshwari, this is the line which we say, Bhumi se mardava sange kombachi lavdava. It means when the bird, there are descriptions about the earth. We can see in Discovery Channel, we have seen in Discovery, we have read in Discovery magazines, various scientific magazines, geographical magazines, and this certain softness of the earth at a particular point they want to express, ways they express. But in has expressed it in such a way that Bhumi se mardava sange kombachi lavdava, means the way the bird comes out of the earth, it itself indicates how soft the earth is. I think it is excellent simile, and is an excellent way of communicating. And in this book, he has communicated with about so many the objects of the world, like from sun, forests, in a very particular and very nice way. This, and he has shown the relationship these things and human life, and so perhaps around 400 years this book is still read, still worshipped. Excellent example. Next slide, please. Next slide. Now we saw the examples of communication with others. But slide before that. Hello? Slide before this. Now we saw the slide before this, Mithila. Thank you. Now, we saw slide after this. Now we saw the communication, examples of communication with others. But communicating with our own mind is equally important, because focus our attention and eliminate the stream of jumbled thoughts that may be crowding our mind and cause stress can be removed from communication. This will result in enhanced physical and emotional well-being. It creates harmony with the universe, and that is the most important thing, that it creates harmony with the universe. Now, when we say self-communication, immediately we think about meditation, and we think meditation means we think that we are sitting somewhere, or we are going out into some forest or some place where we are thinking, and we are closing our eyes and going into deep depth. I don't think that is required, and that is not possible also for an interval. Simple thing. This person who is sitting there and sitting in the office and handling his issues, trying to solve issues, is also equally important. It is. I will say it is also meditation, sort of meditation. Doing your work, thinking about your work, and try to sort it out is also a meditation. First, you have to be clear in your own thoughts. Once you are clear in your own thoughts, then only you can communicate with others in an effective way. Your emotions should be clear, then only you can touch the emotions of others. Otherwise, it is not possible. And once you are clear in your thoughts, you are communicating with others, then a phase comes when there is a sudden realization. Next slide, please. Next slide. Dr. Vinal, next slide, please. So now what we have seen is the flow of universe the flow goes like this. Facts of universe. It has got two. One goes to science. Science gives technology. Technology gives rise to industry, and it did knowledge, comfort, and increased lifespan. Similarly, other goes to spirituality. It is studying of inner self, connecting with universe, and this also gives both the fruits gives knowledge, comfort, and increased lifespan. More than that, both of they are connected with each other, and both of them harmony with the universe. That is the most important. Create harmony with the universe. And once your work, yourself, come to the harmony, there the phase of sudden realization comes. Next slide, please. Next slide. One of very interesting example of sudden realization is this. We know this. What is this? This is DNA molecule. Everybody, all of us know this. This is DNA molecule. This is a microscopic picture, and these are the models which have been made of DNA. And these two people, Mr. Watson and Dr. Crick, these two people created this model of DNA. These two are concerned or accepted or honored as brain of the century of 19th century. They are the brain of 19th century. They have created this model of DNA which has opened various avenues in pharmaceutical industry and given rise to various different medicines for non-curable diseases till then. How did they find this? It is very interesting incidents. How did they working on? They were working on this model. They were trying possibilities, but they were not getting the exact model. They were not getting the exact breakthrough. 5-6 years they have worked on this. Day and night they were working. They were very serious about it, and they didn't know how to get it, whether they will get it or not. So one Sunday morning, both of them were frustrated. They left the lab. They went out in some restaurant. They had nice lunch. They had beer, and after that, instead of going in the room, they said, "Okay, we will go back, sit in the lab." So they came to the laboratory, and just they were talking to each other. And Dr. Watson took the pencil and started drawing something, scribbling something. And after 15-20 minutes, he was scribbling. And after that time, he looked at that what he has scribbled, and he realized that this can be the exact model of DNA. It came to him that moment. He never knew that he will be able to or decide the DNA model. It was not possible for him. He never thought. Suddenly it came up. Suddenly it came on the and this is the model. It is sudden realization. How did it come? Because they were working day and night on this. In their mind, it had some balance between their work and their in the universe. So this harmony made them find this out. That is the only reason we can say. Otherwise, there is no other reason. At the moment they can find this out. Or some person told me when I was telling this experience with the college people. So one of my friends told me he could do this because he had beer on the Sunday afternoon. That can be his own interpretation, but that is not the truth. So they could do it because it was the harmony with the universe, I would say. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Vinal, next slide, please. When the scientist or executives find sudden realization, it is called as sudden realization, or it is the sudden solution. But when the same thing happens on spiritual level, we can call it as an enlightenment. Like Gautam Buddha and Swami Vivekananda, they enlightenment. Buddha was sitting in under the tree and he realized the secrets about life. Swami Vivekananda ji were sitting on the island near Kanyakumari, and he found this he realized about the life. That is also that it comes to them only because they were working day for this. Next slide, please. Next slide. And how this happens, how this realization comes, it is very interesting. Example is Mr. Ramdas Swami. We know about this, Samarth Ramdas Swami. He wrote two fantastic books. One is Manacheshlo, again, which is introvert. We are talking to yourself. It is spirituality. We may discuss about yourself, your mind. And I think this Manacheshlo is as good as the book written by Freud. It is written in a very nice and easy language, but is as good as Sigmund Freud's work. And Das Both, again, it is a management book. I think many people have read this, so no point in speaking about Das Both, but it is a management book, and the principles given in this book are similar to Philip Kotler and Peter Drucker. He wrote these excellent books, and one person did both psychology and management. It is again a wonder. Next slide, please. When this happens, when we understand spirituality and management, there are certain people who are actually spiritual managers, I would say. Shivaji Maharaj, I would say, is a spiritual. When I look at his has done throughout his life, he is a person who created his enterprise. There were so many problems in his crisis in his life, but he overcome them. Like example, which is known to us, he went to meet Afzal Khan. That time he knew that he can be killed. Entrepreneur should take risk. That's what we are told. But this man took risk of his life. He knew he can be dead. We say the entrepreneur should take calculated risk. Have calculated all the factors that should survive and could come back. He got his victory. So calculated how to take and to which extent one can take. This can be shown from this man's life. Next slide, please. Next slide. Another person in our generation, spiritual entrepreneur, is Steve Jobs. If you look at this man, sometimes we don't understand whether this man is technocrat, he is entrepreneur, he is industrial, or he is just a spiritual saint. This man started a company, Apple, from nowhere. Apple became one of the Fortune 500 companies. Then to run it better, he himself called one person called as Scully from Pepsi. Scully was Pepsi's top level executive. Scully came and he saw the Apple's working and he said, this is not right. The Apple is not doing well and he performed better. So Scully removed jobs only from this organization. You imagine this, the person who creates from scratch, it becomes Fortune 500 company. He appoints one professional and the professional removes the owner. He removed this. Accepted what Scully said. Jobs was removed. This man was, again, at that time also he was quiet. He kept quiet. He was cool. And then after a few he came back to the Apple and he ran the Apple. He took Apple on another level. And he died at the age of 52. And he knew that he is going to die before 55. He has already written about this in many of his books or blogs. So this man can be called as a spiritual entrepreneur who was detached from what he was doing. He worked very hard. He worked for his organization as if it is the last thing for him. But at the same time, he was detached. When he was thrown out of it, or he had the organization, he was quiet. He worked within himself. He increased his mental power and then again came back in the same organization and took the organization again back. Next slide, please. Next slide. Another two people which I call them as a spiritual, it is little different, but they are entrepreneurs, as Sachin Tendulkar and Ratan Tata. Sachin Tendulkar, when he plays, there must be a lot of pressure for him every time he goes to bat. Yet he gives completely, he has given complete to his work. It is not easy. You need tremendous mental power for this, which this man had. Ratan Tata, again, successful entrepreneur. More than that, at least 20 crore families are on Mr. Tata's decision for their livelihood. directly or indirectly. Many people may be working with him in his organization. Many people will be dependent on his decisions, either in shares or they are supplying various parts to his companies. And at that time, when you know so many things are happening around you, and you keep yourself cool and you take decisions, right decisions for years, it is again it needs spirituality for this. So it is one of the best example for spiritual entrepreneurship, spiritual, and how spirituality helps the entrepreneur. I don't know whether they do meditation. We don't know whether they work specifically on this, increasing mental power, but it is within them. And it is within them means they have done something for it. It cannot come just. Next slide, please. Next slide. But spiritual entrepreneurship may not be limited or restricted to only Gurkhan and Ratan Tata or those people. We, small people, working in our own sphere, our homes, we can also be spiritual entrepreneurs. Look at the mother who cooks for her family, for her family, who stands with her husband in crisis or with her kids in crisis, make the kids into cultured human beings, cultured gentlemen, is also spiritual entrepreneur who is working for her enterprise, small enterprise, her family. You can call her family is her enterprise. She's working for that, and so she is also spiritual entrepreneur. She is selfless in this. She is thinking only about her enterprise. She has a lot of power. She is also spiritual entrepreneur. Or the father who is working in his office, doing his job, earning for his family, also a spiritual entrepreneur. We can call, if he is he's honest. Family is happy with him, his wife is happy with him, his kids are happy with him, and he is fulfilling his responsibilities. He is definitely spiritual entrepreneur. Next slide, please. Next slide. Next slide, please. Next slide. After listening to all this, hearing to all this, thinking about all this, we can say that the fundamental truth of universe is flow of universe. Universe keeps on flowing. It has to flow. It wants everything in the universe to flow. Like a river, it starts as a small stream somewhere. It goes from various places, from wherever it goes. It establishes cities, towns around it. And at the end, the river meets the ocean. The most important part of his life is this. When we want to meet the ocean, when we want to end the life. At that juncture, all the life, everything which we have done in our life flashes in front of us. That time, we cannot lie to anybody. We only have to see whether what we have done good or not. Whether we have all the responsibilities, all the material responsibilities, or the entrepreneurial work which we have completed it or not. At the same time, whether we were true and honest in what we did. Did every step we took towards success was approved by our conscious? If it is approved by our conscious, we can end this life with success. And at that point, we can become ocean if we have our conscious is clear at that moment, at that juncture. This is most important. Our conscious should approve our entrepreneurial work and our honesty and truth. If we do that, we ourselves become ocean. Universe may give us more responsibilities in this form of our life or our mind. And spirituality gives us this strength and trains our conscious to be satisfied and put us on the right track throughout our life, so that at the last moment we have no regrets. We the ocean with complete satisfaction. That is the role of spirituality and entrepreneurship. That is the relationship between spirituality and entrepreneurship, that they go together and they together give accomplishment to our life. Whatever we do in life, whatever we do in this universe is accomplished when both of. That's what I want to say. Thank you very much. Thank you, Minalji. Thank you.